Welcome to another edition of Insurance Questions Podcast. 133, Don. Holy crap. What the? That's it. We got to stop doing these. There's too many of them.
No, let's keep going. But it sounded like your intro there was like I was going to drive a 1964 Corvette Stingray. It's
Well,
5 on the floor, and
when you add extra fuel,
what is that?
Pop-Tarts.
Oh,
This is
it's like
the Sunday, Fudge Sunday one
oh
we had
yeah, okay.
on Friday.
Ooh,
I'm all ready to
still
go.
tastes as good. Still as good, huh? Awesome.
So Donnie gets on. He's like, "You want to button up your shirt, or you want to be sexy, like me?" And I said, "Whatever, Don. I can't be as sexy as you sex machine, you." How
No, you're the sex machine.
you doing today, Don?
I'm doing great. But disclaimer time.
Oh,
Well,
the
you have your
comments?
mouthful of Pop-Tart.
Why don't you do your thing first, then?
Go on to whatever you listen to podcast wise, or go to our YouTube channel, Insurance Questions Podcast on YouTube. Subscribe, hit that fan mail button so Eddie gets all these questions. TikTokers,
Yes.
Eddie's on there all the time, so make sure you respond. And we like to get engaged with all of our audience and answer questions and look at the comments and maybe even read a couple of the comments on air here. So just do
And
all
the
that
comments
stuff
and
that
statements
you
by
don't do.
Eddie Buffalo and Donnie Lowers purely for entertainment purposes. There, I got it in, Don. I got it in. Got it in.
Perfect. Woo-hoo. You
So
get
I don't know
another
what I'm more
biscuit.
hungry from, my coffee or the Pop-Tarts.
That's a tough combination
This is
for
the
you,
one that
boy.
had all the extra sugar. What was it, like 64% sugar?
Oh yeah, that's right.
Delicious.
But you like that one a lot.
I did like it a lot.
Is that fresh out of the
So,
refrigerator?
all right, Don. I gotta tell you guys something. So this is Potluck Thursday with Donnie Lowe, and past 2 weeks I've come up with the questions, and then he got salty about it last week. This is my show. So I said to him, I'm like, so what's the show going to be about today? And he's like, nothing. I'm like, how about favorite toy as a kid? Which did you like? Which did you hate? He goes, no. We're going to talk about work ethic.
That's right.
So since
Hey, it's a show about nothing. Wait, that was already done.
That was Seinfeld.
I know, it was already done.
Mm-hmm. Got to come up with something new, Don.
Yeah, so, we're just talking, because just on our normal communication throughout the course of the day and days, this always comes up. We were talking about going out, like, my wife ordered a pizza, and I went in to pick it up, and, she paid for it, ahead of time and everything. All I do is go in, have the person pick up the box, turn around, hand it to me, and I walk out the door. And they're looking for a tip, and I'm like, well, what did you do? Did you serve me? No, whatever, right? And so that kind of led to the conversation about, a lot of restaurants, they're automatically adding on a service fee for their employees. And I was saying, well, I thought that was what you tip somebody for when they serve you. If you eat in a restaurant, you provide a tip, or another type of service, whatever it is.
About it a couple months ago.
Yeah, and it seems like everybody's looking for a tip or adding a service fee, even if the service is not to what your expectations are. I'll be very polite.
Quit being a cheap and turn in one of your gold bars. We know you got it.
No, now I am a generous tipper, and I will tip people very generously.
Don,
And a lot of people say if the
people
food
to
or
wear
the
white at night is not a tip. They can't spend that.
Make sure you wear your reflective gear when you're out at night, okay? That's a great tip.
There's your tip. Can't buy Wonder Bread with that.
Well, that's true. That's true. But even, like if you go out to dinner, right? And the food is just very marginal. The service is maybe terrible, okay? So people say, don't leave a tip. I kind of say, well, no, I'll leave a tip, but I'm not going to leave a 20% tip, which is what I typically do, or 22%, right? I know 18 is kind of the standard. No, I'll leave a little something, and this way they know, well, at least they got something, but hopefully they'll understand that they would have gotten more had they, you know, responded to you and
Yeah,
bring you a water
sound
within
cheap.
10 minutes or whatever.
You're still sounding
you know?
cheap. You're still sounding cheap, on you cheapo.
No, 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 no. I mean, I'm leaving a tip
Let
for
me
them.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. I got a serious question. So when you tip these folks, do you tip on your credit card or do you tip in cash?
I try to tip in cash, but sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I don't have enough cash, so I have to do it on the credit card. And if I have to do it on the credit card, I'll try to put a couple extra bucks on because I know the fee, that gets taken out. How about you?
Because
I,
some places, well, because I have a daughter that is a waitress, you know, and I never realized that some places she worked, they would tip her out at the end of the night on her credit card sales, or
right.
they would put it in her check. So you'd have to wait on it.
Oh, okay.
So always make sure you got some cash in your pocket because these folks work hard,
Yeah, they
and a
do.
lot of
For the
them
most part, they
depend
do.
on their tip, you know.
Yeah.
And I get
So,
it. I get it. Don. I don't pay for bad service either, but you never know. That person might be having a bad day. You don't know what they're going through, Don.
yeah, no, exactly. And so it kind of leads to the work ethic
Mm-hmm.
and just not even sometimes
How
it's the
old were
work
you for your
ethic.
first job, Don? And
Sometimes,
what was it? I want to know how old you were with your first job. Was it when they
well,
invented the wheel and you helped them make the wheels?
no, it was when you had to get two stones and flint and try to start
Oh,
the
you were
fire.
a fire starter.
Yeah, exactly,
What
exactly.
what year BC was that? Before Jesus was born. So that was pretty long ago.
It was a
How was
long
the
time ago.
pension for that? Was it good?
There was no pension.
What was your for real? For real? What was your first job?
Well, I had a paper route. I don't know how old you had to be for a paper route. Maybe 12. My father, I used to help my father. My father used to have an antique shop in Buffalo, and
And
I
now
would
you're
go
an
there.
antique. Full circle, Don. Full circle.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But no, I would go. I was in grammar school, and occasionally I would go. My parents would allow me to take the Elmwood bus up to get to his shop, which wasn't far from my grammar school, right? And then I would spend the Saturday with him at his store, as 8 years old, I guess, 9 years old.
Oh, talk about work ethic. I gotta ask you: do you think kids have more advantage now that they go, to different classes instead of having a one-room schoolhouse like you had when you were a child?
Yeah, they have to walk more inside the school building.
5 miles up a hill, 5 miles up a hill down. I don't know how you did that, Don, but was it
Yeah,
snowing too? In a
yeah, and
snowstorm.
I was barefoot. I was barefoot too in the snowstorms.
Well, the cavemen didn't have stuff for their feet, so I can understand that. So when did they
That's
invent
right.
shoes for you guys, Don? Did you
That
start
was
with
a long time
sandals,
ago.
or did you just put like
I'll tell you what a
animal
blessing those
pelts?
shoes were. The sandals, what a blessing that was.
Okay, so you worked for your
So,
dad. Did he pay you though?
no, no, but he would
Oh,
buy me
that's
different things.
well. Here's the thing. I want to know what your first job was that you actually got paid for.
Probably well, I'm saying my paper route, or I would like go shovel in the winter, So people in Texas may not understand that, but yeah, in Buffalo. We
Right.
do get some snow in the winter. I would
Y'all
shovel
get snow?
sidewalks or
What y'all
whatever.
talking about? Oh, we had the worst snowstorm here. We got a quarter inch of snow. Let me tell
My
you what.
goodness,
Good thing we closed
point
our
two
pool
five
early.
inches.
Yeah, so at my apartment building, they closed. The last day was Labor Day for the pool because it gets so cold here in Texas. Ooh.
What's the temperature today? Do you know?
Right now it is 79 degrees.
Oh, it's cold. It's cool.
Sweater weather. Gonna get my hoodies out pretty soon. So
And then
okay,
I guess my first official job, because you have to be really 16. So that I was officially 16.
where'd you
Got a
work?
job when I was
Bell's,
16.
Super Duper. Am I close?
No, no, I worked at a hospital, local hospital, in the dietary department.
Doing what? Oh, in dietary. Were you a taste tester for the patients?
No, I was sweeping, mopping floors, taking
Was
out
that
garbage, washing
you
pots and
the
pans.
tapioca pudding maker in dietary?
Afterwards, I
I
became,
don't care
yeah,
if it's. I like
I've helped
tapioca
with that.
pudding. I liked rice pudding. I liked all the puddings. Puddings are delicious.
Oh, do you?
Pudding
What about
corner
you?
with Ed and Donnie. That'll be next. So, with your first fancy check of working for yourself, I got my own money. I can do whatever I want with it. What did you purchase?
I gave I gave some money to my parents.
Ah, good boy.
I did, and I think I bought an album at Record Theater.
We are very similar, Don.
Oh yeah.
So my first, no, seriously, because my first job, I was 13 years old. I worked for the Mayor Summer Youth.
Ah,
Everybody was politically connected in South Buffalo, so I
yeah,
got a
I know.
job from somebody. And it was working at the waterfront school when it first opened, like behind
Oh
Channel
wow.
7. I
Yeah.
was pretty much a babysitter. I went there for handed out free lunches, and sat in the gym while the kids were playing and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
And so,
I actually played floor hockey there
oh yeah, it was a
on
beautiful
Sunday
school.
mornings.
But
Yeah,
and
beautiful.
so I was so excited, Don. So on my day off, I think we got paid on Thursdays back then. I would take the South Park bus, the 16, all the way downtown. I would walk over to City Hall, go and get my check because I was so excited and everything. Then I would walk downstairs and I would go across to Gold Dome Bank when it was Gold Dome Bank.
Oh yeah.
They're
Yeah.
filming a movie there right now, Don.
Oh, I did hear that. I don't remember which movie, but
And then I would walk to the main place mall,
ah,
go to Cabbages and buy whatever the hell I
cabbages.
wanted. So I said it was a pretty similar story.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh,
But
that's cool.
and I want to give a shout out because we're talking about work ethic, and I don't mean to brag, but I'm going to because I'm very proud of her. My daughter Allie, she has 3 jobs. She
That's
works at a corporation off of Hurdle, and then part time she bartends. Not part time, excuse me. She waitresses, and on Saturdays she delivers flowers. So
oh
she's
nice.
a pretty busy girl. I mean, she's got a nice car, so she wants to pay for it. She doesn't want to be in debt.
Yeah,
And on top of that, she went back to school. I'm so proud of her to finish her degree. So,
that's
Allie,
awesome.
you're my favorite today.
Today, right now.
Right now, you're my favorite.
So don't mess up in the next hour.
I mean, all my kids have had a really good work ethic. I don't know what happened to me. I'm doing goofy podcasts with Goofy Donnie Lowe. So
I know.
mistakes were made, folks. Mistakes were made.
That's
What
right.
what
But
was
they
the
can be
worst?
overcome.
What was the worst job you ever had? And don't say being on the podcast with me because this isn't a job; it's an adventure.
Yeah, yeah, it's quite an adventure.
Mhm.
Uh, the worst job, I don't know. Like thinking back throughout my entire career and all that, they were all great things. And sure, there's moments where you're like, oh, what am I
No
doing?
job's perfect.
yeah, it's they're learning experiences. I would say, well, this you can definitely relate to this. I don't want to say it was the worst thing, but I used to be a collector for a bank
I
for
like being a
credit
bill
cards,
collector.
and I know you liked it, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm like, I didn't like it that much. I did it. I was successful with it,
Either
but
you like it or you don't with that kind of
yeah,
job.
it's like,
That's the
yeah,
thing.
it was ironic because I was on the collection side, and then I went to the credit side, issuing the credit, and I like that one a lot better than
Oh,
trying
I bet. People are
to
much
collect
nicer to you than
money. Absolutely. How about you?
I'm. I'm going to tell you my worst job, and I haven't thought about this in a long time. A friend of mine, hang on one second, Don. I got to start something and pause. You'll hear our voices for a second.
All right. I don't want you to
Shut
get
up, Eddie.
agito talking
A
about
friend of
reliving those
mine
bad
said,
experiences.
"Oh, I heard this job. It's like, okay." I think I hit the button too much, Don. So my buddy's like, "Hey, do you want a job making $27 an hour?" And this is going back probably when I was like 16 or 7. I'm like, heck yeah, I want that. You know? And it's like,
Yeah.
it was a job digging trenches for fiber optic cable.
Oh my God.
And
Hand
I didn't
digging?
have gloves on,
Ooh,
hand digging. It was over railroad
blisters.
trestle, around railroad trestles in
Uh,
Cheektowaga. My hands looked like raw meat between the blisters and the sunburn I had and everything. I lasted a day, and that was it for me because my
oh,
hands were shot.
yeah.
You know,
Oh yeah. They didn't forewarn you
I had
wear
fun
gloves,
jobs
and they
though
didn't give you
too.
gloves.
I loved working on the railroad. I loved working as a bellhop when I was a young man. You know, I met a lot of famous people that I would never had the opportunity to do so,
Yeah.
but it
Yeah,
was pretty
you
cool.
should share one of those experiences of meeting. How about John
But
Candy or
I think my favorite has got to be my Joe DiMaggio story.
oh,
So, Don, do you
is,
remember
is that
when they
something that you can say on
originally?
the podcast?
Yeah, I'm going to clean it up. It's nothing dirty.
Yeah, okay.
In my head, it was dirty, but that's about it. So when
Go
I was
figure.
working at the big downtown, oh, it's the Hyatt. I don't think it's the Hyatt anymore, so I can say it.
I think it is.
It was like the place to be. You know, a lot of the
Yes.
hockey teams stayed there. A lot, if you were famous, you were there. I met Liza Minnelli, Candice Bergen, then Vice President Bush was there when I was there. I met a lot like Van Halen, Aerosmith, Kiss. I mean, I could go on and on. You too, And I tell these stories to my daughters, and I'm like, no, you didn't. So, but my my
I don't believe you.
favorite story was, do you remember when they first opened up Pilot Field?
Yep.
How big it
So
was?
share
I
your
don't
pilot
know.
field is.
Pilot Field was probably like the premier baseball stadium for minor league in the country. And I mean, there'd be
Right.
different cities coming and actually looking at the designs and everything because it was made for to be a major league uh, ballpark because you could remove the roof and just add on to it. But unfortunately, that never happened. And
Right.
they had
Right.
I don't
Yeah, and
remember, Don, if it was the first year or the second year they had the All Star game for the AAA team, and
yes.
so
Yes, that's right.
Mickey Mantle was there, and here comes Joe DiMaggio, and so Joe DiMaggio. It was my turn to take somebody up to their room, and little old man at that time, and I'm taking him by the arm, and he's stopping, and he's signing autographs. Very, very gracious. I met a lot of people that were a-holes too. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
This guy
sure.
was super duper nice. And so, anyways, so we're talking about that. And I get on He was on the 16th floor, so I get on the elevator. So I had a little bit of time, and like I was not a baseball fan. I was always a Bills fan, a Sabres fan, hockey and football, but I really could give two craps about baseball. I'm sorry, folks, but
Right.
that's just how I am. And so I'm on the elevator, but remember, at that time I was like 18, 19 years old. And I'm thinking to myself, what do you think was going through my mind, Don?
Who is this old man?
I was thinking, oh my God, this guy had sex with Marilyn Monroe.
I didn't want to say it.
Yeah, I cleaned it up pretty good, Don. I wasn't really
Yes,
thinking that, but for being nice purposes, I did. So that's not the part of the story that you're gonna find funny. So just little small talk. And he was just a nice guy. He wasn't really saying much. And we get up to the room, and I go, Mr. DiMaggio, I got to tell you, it was very nice that he stopped and signed autographs. I meet a lot of famous people, and they're not as gracious as you were. He goes, nice, nothing, kid. I got to take a leak. Here's your tip, and off he went.
That's so funny.
So yeah.
Oh my God. So you talk about the Hyatt.
I never would have. I'll tell another fun story. So I was a bellhop there, and somebody must have called and they asked me if I want to pick up a shift as a doorman. With the red coat, the hat, open up the doors. How you doing? And plus with me being a bellhop, I would always try to schmooze them and get the money before they got to the bellhop, and all my buddies would be all mad at me. So at that time, a lot of my relatives were still alive, and my mom came from a family of 13. My dad came from a family of 13. So more than likely, I got a lot of relatives that I don't even know about.
Yeah.
So this dude gets out of the cab, and he's got a garment bag over his thing, and I'm like, Jesus, that guy looks like he could be related to me, And hi, welcome to Buffalo. Blah 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 blah. Can I help you? Oh no. I go, I gotta ask you. I got a lot of relatives. Are you related to the Bednars or Ball family? He's like, no. I go, well, enjoy your stay, anyways. He goes, isn't that special? Frickin' Dana Carvey doing his church lady to me as he's walking into the hotel.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
Yeah, I have a kind of a funny story at the Hyatt. So, like you mentioned, hockey teams, the visiting team would typically stay at the Hyatt because it was downtown, close to the arena and all that. Well, I'm involved. My wife and I founded a nonprofit organization, and we had a physician from Boston come into Buffalo to do a grand rounds. He spoke in front of at Children's Hospital with all the physicians, and
cool.
and then he went to see patients. Well, he was staying at the Hyatt, so I don't know if it was a Friday morning or whatever. We went to the Hyatt to pick him up. He says, "All right, I'll meet you outside at 8:00 or whatever," and then we were going to bring him right to Children's Hospital. So we get there a little early. We're waiting, and he's prompt, right on schedule.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife says, "Let me go inside and look for him." So my wife goes inside, and I'm sitting in the car outside waiting. Finally, the two of them come out. I said, "Everything okay?" "Oh yeah. This doctor was eating lunch or breakfast with the Philadelphia Flyers hockey team, and he's talking with them and going on and on and on."
That's so funny.
I know. So it's like, oh my God.
I gotta tell you, Don, we didn't get a lot of hockey teams because a lot of them stayed at the Hilton because it was closer to the arena.
Oh yeah.
And one of the few teams we got was the Quebec Nordiques.
Oh wow!
So this is going back there. If I'm saying Quebec
going back.
And we found out why they were at the Hyatt.
Uh-oh.
because they got kicked out of the Hilton, and we ended up kicking them out too because they were such a-holes.
Oh, so they were,
Fighting,
and
swearing, drunk. Ah, it was just a
just the way they
nightmare.
were on the ice, right? Their
Hmm.
reputation was,
I
wow,
gotta
that's
tell you, I don't know
wild.
how you feel about this, but those were the loudest hockey games when you went to the old Quebec, and the
Oh,
most fights between Buffalo and Quebec. I would say
yeah,
so. You know,
yeah. Or Boston, maybe, but,
true, but I just remember those always
yeah.
being nasty SOBs. You know,
Yeah. Claude
but
Lemieux, right?
all right, let's get back to what was your favorite job, Don?
I've had a lot of favorite things that I've done throughout my career. Um, and I
Hmm.
would say any time that I was in a role to help people, I just love. So doing what we're
Hmm.
doing now, I really love it. Just to help people. That's
Hmm.
that's it.
Yeah, you seem
Really.
to like it.
Yeah. How
So,
about you?
unfortunately, Don, this is your last day doing the podcast because you are fired as of right now.
Thank you.
Wouldn't that
Put
be
me out
nice?
of my
Nice way
misery.
of getting fired. Ah, shit. You know what I just remembered? I got fired from Tops.
Oh, really?
Yeah, on my birthday.
What'd you do?
I lied
What
about my
happened?
age because I really wanted to work there. And when I actually turned 16, they found out and fired my
How long had you been working there?
oh, like a year and a half.
Are you
I started when
serious?
I was like 14 and a half years old because I had a girlfriend that worked there and I wanted to, hang out with her. You know what I mean?
How funny.
And this guy,
How funny.
he thought it was great firing me on my birthday. What a loser.
Jeez. What department did you work in?
Produce.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was on
uh,
Tops on South Park Avenue in South Buffalo.
yeah. So they
It was
didn't fire you on your 15th birthday. They waited to your
my
16th birthday.
because that's when I was able to work there, and they found that out. I don't know how, to be honest with you, but they found out.
Well, did you happen to break up with your girlfriend before that?
No, mm-mm. Oh, I might have. I
Oh,
don't
okay.
know. Probably, maybe he was banging her. Who knows? Who knows, Don? That's a mystery
All
that'll
these
never be solved.
opinions
I
and
guess.
expressions are from Eddie Buffalo only for
Hey,
entertainment
anything talks
purposes.
at least it's entertaining. Okay, we're here to have fun and entertain you. You know,
That's
and
right. That's
I
right.
actually, Don,
So,
I kind of like these shows. They're starting to be my favorite because they're real. I mean, none of these stories are like we're pulling out of our. Well, we are pulling them out of our butts, but they're true stories, or maybe
yeah,
embellished
oh,
a little
yeah.
bit, but not much. Not much.
Not
So,
much.
okay, what
So,
was your
our
worst
topic
job?
is, well, we already talked about that.
Yeah, but that
Collections.
wasn't. Yeah, that was kind of like. Come
I
on,
mean,
that
you
must
know
not
what?
have been
I've
that
done,
bad for you, Don. Come on.
look, I've done so many different things,
Hmm.
when I was young, in high school, in college,
So,
gotten my
what
hands
was your age
dirty.
when you used to be a stripper at Club Chit Chat?
Now, how do you know about Club Chit Chat? Because I thought you'd be a little too
I read
young
it
to know
somewhere.
about
I knew a guy.
it. You knew the guy. Oh, yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
god!
Look at, we're off topic. The
Oh, was
topic
that your
is
name? I.
work ethic.
Was that your stripper's name?
Ay, ay,
I.
ay, ay, ay.
Welcome to the stage, Donnie. I. Hello, hello. Can you go? Hello, can you go? I think I need another Pop Tart, Don.
Yeah,
We're in the home
I
stretch
think
on this
you're
show,
okay.
baby.
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about work ethic. Kids today, right?
Don, aren't we?
So you hear,
Well, what are you saying?
well,
Strippers don't work, Don? Is that what you're saying?
oh my
For all
goodness.
our stripper friends out there, the comments and statements of Donnie Lowe are just to cover him because he's being a jerk. When you're getting so much abuse from me, what does your wife think about this? She laugh.
She can, you know what? She can give me more abuse than you, but she's being kind. So,
Oh, she's nicer than me. Thank goodness, because I'm not married to you.
That's right. That's right. So, work ethic. Ready?
That was too
It's
long of a
interesting.
pause. I
Like,
was uncomfortable. I was a little bit uncomfortable with that, Don. Have you thought about being married to me? Because you know I am single now. You'd have to divorce your wife,
I've never thought about it at all. At all.
though.
So, don't even go there. Don't even go there. So, as you have experienced different roles in professional careers or whatever throughout your life, and you get older, it's easy to say, "Oh, the kids these days, they don't know how to work. They don't have to walk to school uphill both ways, with the snowstorm with no shoes, right?" But when you hear the younger generation, so the Xers, the Zers, the what I forgot what the other ones are called, say, boy, these people, these kids, they don't know how to work, or they can't do this or that. It's interesting to hear the younger generation talking about their own or slightly younger than them generation about lack of work ethic. So
I'll
we're,
never.
we're
Yeah,
blessed
we're
with our
very
children.
similar
We're
that we've
blessed.
done so many jobs. Mine seem to be a little bit more interesting than yours, but whatever. So
Whatever.
I'll never forget. Like I said, I knew my daughters didn't believe my stories until Katie started going to Niagara,
Uh,
and
and why?
I went up to visit her, and she goes, "Just so you know, my friends think that you're a legend." I'm like, "What are you freaking talking about?" You know. Well, I told them stories about all your different jobs you've had, and they think that it's legend. I'm like, well, sometimes it worked out good, sometimes it didn't, kid. So this job right now, we'll see what happens.
Well, you're a legend in your own mind right now, so that's okay. As
That's
long as
about
you think so.
that's okay with me, John. John, yeah, Johnny Lowe. That was
Johnny
that your
Lowe.
stripping name? Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the stage Johnny Lowe. How low can you go? How low can you go? How
Oh my
low can you
goodness.
go?
Oh my goodness. But
It made me
I think
smart. What?
I think in the service industry, um, sometimes I don't know if it's a lack of work ethic or just general incompetence. Sometimes, here's a
Uh,
story.
I
I
just think that COVID broke a lot of people.
it did, it did. I went to,
And
I don't know, it might have been Timmy's.
during COVID, I overtipped because I was like, those are the people that actually showed up to do their work.
Yeah, no, it's true, very true.
And right
I
now,
went
if
to
you're in the service industry and you get pissed off today, you can have another job tomorrow.
exactly, exactly.
But tell me your Timmy Ho
But
story, Donnie.
yeah, so I think I just went in there and bought a cup of coffee for my wife because I don't drink coffee, ironically.
I
But
know
anyway,
you've talked about that in other episodes because you're not old enough yet.
I'm
Your
not
parents
old
won't
enough.
let you have coffee. I get it.
But so however much it was, I gave, say I gave a $5 bill, and I should have gotten $1.45 or something change, right?
Hmm.
And you know, they gave me $1 back.
Okay.
So, I said, and again, it wasn't for the money. I said, I gave you a five. How much was the bill? 362 or whatever it was. I said, and you gave me $1 back. Yeah, that's your change. I said, well, if I gave you a $5 bill and say the bill was 362, I should get $1.38 back, right? Um, this clerk pulls out her phone, goes to the calculator, right? I thought the cash registers did it. Said, "Oh
Right.
yeah." So in the meantime, the manager sees me talking with this clerk. Is there a problem? I said, "Oh, just a short change." And then I told the manager, not for anything. I don't care about the change, but I think that your employees should know how to give change when you're giving cash,
Yeah.
right? And she kind of rolled her eyes and said, "Yeah, I know. It's a challenge. It really is a challenge." Thinking, "Oh my goodness,"
Well,
you know?
Donnie, I hate to do this to us, but we were having a lot of technical difficulties. I'm hoping that the rest of the episode was good and then Tyler can straighten it out, but we're going to have to cut it short because you are breaking up horribly. I don't know if it's
Okay.
my side or yours, but it was a good show. I enjoyed it.
It was-
I'm sorry
yeah.
that it turned into what job did Eddie have instead of work ethic. But I was always working. I was never out of work, you
That's
know.
great. That's a
And
great thing.
but if you like working with people that are just like you, we're the people to see. www.ebiagency.com. Our hotline 716-306-2020 for your buddy Eddie Buffalo and Donnie Lowe. Stay safe out there, folks. All right. All
Ciao.
right, Don. Thanks again. Bye.
Thank you.